We're back, and guess what? There's more comics dropping, so stay tuned. Welcome back, Gainers, to another incredible, fantastic episode of ComicGains! And if you're new to the show, I'm Adam.
I'm Zach, and this is Princess Royal Hands, looking very lovely today, just like usual, doing that princess wave, so you need to do it too. Bow down, respect, and there's Coco.
There she is.
There's a Coco down.
Hey guys, so we're back on this beautiful Monday. We had a nice long weekend, and you know what happened over this weekend, Zach?
We went to Leavenworth.
But a lot of books were dropping.
A lot of books were dropping, too.
Yeah, so you had to report on those. Report on the books that be dropping. See if any of them are good times. Any of these are good to pick up. So, if you're new to the drop list, the Games crew scours the internet for hot lists, trending lists, speculation lists, any list anyone's coming up with. And we try to figure out what reason those books were getting hot at the time and if they've dropped in price significantly 1 year later. We're looking at 1 year later from when these lists were popping off and trying to see if any of these are a good time to pick them up now. Usually that's a good time frame, about a year, to decide whether or not it's good to pick them up or if they should just be forgotten forever. And sometimes that happens. We'll definitely get Zach's number one pick of the week. He also has a number one drink of the week.
Yeah. I'll keep on with the cider and beer train, and I got here a Passion Guava Incline Cider Company, 6.5%. I've been told it has a little bit of a sour note to it.
Guava.
And I really like the sourness sometimes.
Oh, we're drinking beers too. It's a special Monday.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty darn good. It is a little bit sour. I like it.
It's a little bit sour.
I like it.
Woo! You know what isn't sour? If you hang out with us on Whatnot every Saturday, where you can get those gains. The ComicGains crew, Adam and Zach, are on every Saturday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. We do dollar starts, the wall of gains. We're always giving away a slab. And if you stay tuned, the Princess's show is on at 6, where she has the legendary Wheel of Gains, as well as some of the best polls on Whatnot, people will be saying. So if you show up a little early on our show, you can find out when those polls are going to be dropping, and people are trying to pick them up. So come check us out on Whatnot. It's a good time. All right. Back to the dropping comics, which is also a good time. I love doing the drop list. It's a really good way to figure out if we should be buying any of these or not. So the first book on the list is a number one, and it's a Marvel .1 number one. That's a whole lot of going on there. 2011, this book came out. We got Adam Kubert and Ed Brubaker doing the good work on this good book. And if you guys are unfamiliar with this book, it has a lot of appearances in it, a lot going on. So we'll go through the whole thing. It's got first appearance of Nova, Sam Alexander, who's the younger, fun Nova version we all love. Also has first appearance of Kane as the Scarlet Spider when he transforms over into that new red costume. And pretty big deal going forward with the Edge of Spider-Verse series. He's one of the main characters on it, so that's pretty cool. The death of Terrax the Tamer, who's one of Zach's favorite. He loves that good old Terrax.
Yeah.
First team appearance of the Exterminators, and you also have the alternate universe Doctor Strange new costume, which is one of the ones we saw in the movie. Kind of has those cool sideburns with the gray sides going on.
Oh, very nice.
Pretty fancy stuff. So huge book. And last year in March of 2022, Deadline reported that Marvel was working on a Nova project, and it took off like a rocket, just like Nova. But this book doesn't seem to ever hold its steam. You know what I mean? Like it on paper, it looks like it should be like a huge book, and it never really goes, to the moon where it should go. It goes up a little bit, then it kind of goes back down, and it goes up a little bit. It's just interesting. If this book had that low print run that the other Marvel .1 now Kamala Khan book had, it'd probably be a similar value, but that one has a really low print run. So the other thing to know about this, a note, is there's a 1 in 100 Nick Bradshaw that's out there, and it's actually not very cool. In my opinion, it's probably why it's not worth a lot either, which is kind of surprising. So how do we feel about the .1 there, Zach?
What you were trying to get at. This book didn't go supernova. Ha! Made another funny. Prices a year ago for a CGC 9.8 was $375. Now it goes for about $150.
Wow.
Range 106 versus the high of 450. Average sell $255 for $150. Not a bad deal. Not too bad. I would rather get it at the 106, but I think this book is going somewhere to the moon in supernova. It's going to be a red giant of a price tag someday. So yeah, you can put your safe bet on.
I agree. It's only a matter of time. I don't know why it hasn't gotten there yet. I feel like it should. People really like Sam Alexander a lot, so I don't know why this book is not worth more money.
Absolutely.
It's too easy to get, so get it. Too easy. You know, it's not too easy to get this next book, and this is Voltron #1. This is from Modern Comics in 1985. Henry Vogel and Mark Fury, and this is first appearance of Voltron in U.S. Comics. This originally was an animated series that came out in 1984, ran for 2 seasons, and then the comic came out in 1985. So the cartoon's actually before the comic, which is cool. But in March of 2022, 1 year ago, a live action project was announced, and this book started trending, started getting a little expensive, which is cool. I would say my experience with this book, though, it's always been kind of a well-respected title, always has had some value. It didn't just like pop off just because of that announcement. Got it better, but it's always been kind of an expensive book. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. The Gains group will tell you if you see a $1 price tag on there, that means it's the Canadian price variant, and it garnishes a little more money. Not a whole lot more, but a little more. We like a little more Gains every once in a while. So how about the Voltron, Zach? Price. Combine them all together to make one giant Voltron, right?
One big lion bot.
One big lion bot.
Price a year ago, it was ferocious at $425. Now a small drop of $360, nothing crazy. Range 293 to 670 was the high at some point. Average sell 478. This is a book that I would probably try to get raw and shoot for that 9.8. Because it's just one of those books that I feel if you have a good eye for, you can find it. You'll know that it's a 9.8 or not. It's one of those books. Usually. Not always, but usually. Yeah, I would think you'd get raw and you could probably have a nice little price hike.
Yeah, and it does have good value in multiple grades. It's not just expensive in the 9A2, which is always cool when you get books like that. And it's one of those ones you can find in somebody's back issues that they didn't think was a good book. A lot of collectors may kind of push it aside because it's not Marvel or DC, and maybe they don't care about Voltron, and you know better. Yeah. You know better about Voltron. All right. There is one book on the list this week that we do not have. I think we sold this at the right time. That's probably why we don't have it. But that's Miss Marvel #5 from 2014. You got Jamie McKeevan and G. Willow Wilson, the creator of Miss Marvel, doing the work on this book. And this is the origin of Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is the Miss Marvel we're talking about. And it's the first cameo appearance of the Inventor, who's a clone of Thomas Edison and a cockatiel, I believe, kind of a strange character, but he is one of her major villains throughout the comics. So it's really cool character. I know that people were like, how would they do that on the show? They're gonna have like this bird dude running around like creating some havoc. Probably not gonna happen. But this was also a very popular book a year ago, because when the Disney Plus show was coming out, they used this cover as kind of like the promotional for the show. They got her sitting on the lamppost, kind of looking out over the skyline. Just a great cover in general, and it was kind of a cheaper book before they announced the TV show. Right. And all of a sudden it took off. It was like a $5-10 book, and then all of a sudden it was on for $50 or maybe more than that. And the show was over. Some people liked it, some people didn't. I thought it was a good show. It had its points that were going on. There's some cool stuff in it, but since the show's not on, they're not using promotion, the book kind of goes back down and may be more reasonable price for it. Especially if you're a big Inventor fan, you may want to go after it. So what are the numbers on this here Kamala Khan key?
So interesting enough, there's only 29, I believe, CGC 9.8.
Whoa.
And hardly any of them are ever posted on eBay. But we do got some sales data. Prices about a year ago was $396 for a 9.8. Pretty high for a modern origin key. Pretty interesting. Prices last sold was $155. Chopped right in half. Wow. Range 155 to 396. Average 294. I don't really agree with buying origins that much. If there's books that you want origins of, you really have a great connection to. Maybe it's filling in your run, but to go for like collectability, I don't think Origins usually is the way to go, unless it goes along with its first appearance and Origin. But just Origin retold, Origin showed up 10 issues later. I mean, it's great information, but I don't think it has a good collectability. But it doesn't really have a good reinvestable aspect to it. And that's my opinion on it.
Hard to say, yeah.
Great cover. Great cover.
Yeah, great cover. And just a side note too, for some reason, a lot of the Kamala Khan keys, if they have the blue border on the bottom for being the second print, they're usually worth more than the first print. With Kamala books, I don't know why that is, but a lot of her books are all worth more if they have the blue footer at the bottom. So keep an eye out. I think her books were all under-ordered when they came out too originally. A lot of people didn't know what to think about her as a character. I can tell you, if you read her, she's amazing. Cool, really cool character in the comics. She's just like a super fan of all the other characters. So when she does team ups, it's really funny. Like, she just loves all the other characters, which is kind of cool. I think it's cool. Kind of like us. We're like reading ourselves in the comics. Okay, let's go back a little bit further. I think this is the oldest book on the list this week. This has probably been on the drop list before. So this is a repeat offender, and it's kind of one of the blue chip keys that kind of goes ups and downs. So you got to kind of grab it when it's on the down. And you got Amazing Spider-Man 194. You guys all know the book. 1979. Al Milgrom, who's amazing. Marv Wolfman, who's amazing. Woo! And this is the first appearance of Felicia Hardy, the Black Cat.
Bye, Felicia.
Yep. And like I said, this is a blue chip book, so it's not ever going to be on the permanent drop, but it just kind of goes in waves depending on what information is coming out and spiking, whether or not people think a Black Cat movie is going to get made. They were going to do that Silver Sable Black Cat movie, and then they kind of shelved that, but now the Sonyverse is kind of coming back a little bit, so that might pop up again. That might be something that comes up after the Kraven movie if they dip into those characters a little bit more, but it's a little bit lower than what it's been. Like I said, it's never going to go like to the ground, and you should always be on the lookout for 194 if you're a fan. And as we've said before, Zach will tell you about the error on the book. That one doesn't have the error though, right? But
that one does have the error.
That's the error one?
That's error. I got 2 of them and 1 regular.
Keep an eye out for that little yellow piece that's in the top corner. It surprisingly is way more expensive. Not just a little bit more expensive, it's a lot more expensive. So keep an eye out for that. There's a lot of people don't see it, and CGC doesn't even put it on the slabs. They don't put error on the slab. So just kind of, it's a weird error. I personally don't care about it that much, but it's cool, I guess. How you like it?
I don't really care that much that it's error. I care about it, how technically that would be the first printing of it. If it was first off the presses, we made a mistake. We got to fix it. They fixed it. So everything printed there, not the yellow, from what I understand, unless they had multiple printing runs. They might have printing factories. They print it here. But it's from what I could see from this is when they first, at least on that run, that one station, that was the first probably 1,000 books came out.
I feel you. You want to get the first one.
You got to get the first one. Yes.
I like the last one. The last one off the press.
Do you want to hear some prices?
I want to hear it. Let's do it.
Okay. We got to hear some prices. So for a CGC 9.8 a year ago was $4,494. Wow. Now $3,312. $1,000 plus drop. Hurts, but not a bad price. Range 2,500 to 4,808. Average sales 3,802. I think this book always has legs. I always want to get more of them. I have 3 of them. I want to get 3,000 of them. I want to get as many as I can, because when she actually does show up in the MCU, it's going to be a big book. It's going to go crazy. And I already think it's a pretty big book. But if she's in the MCU, they show her, people like her. I mean, this book's going to be... I would almost think it's going to go 5 times value. But that's my opinion. Could be wrong, but my opinion. I think this book could go real hot.
It does have value in a lot of the grades, too. It even goes down to, like, you get a 5.5, it still has some good value. So, like, keep that in mind. When books do that, you kind of know. Either some books are, like, 9.8 or 9.6, and then everything else is nothing. This book is good all the way down. People will pay money for most of the grades. Especially me. You guys know I like the lower grade books. I don't have this one. These 2 have multiple copies, though. I don't have 194. Okay. Speaking of, the next book, though, I do have a copy of. And this one is exciting on the drop list. A very, very cool book. We got Ultimate Spider-Man #1, the Volume 2 from 2011. Brian Michael Bendis, probably my favorite author, and Sarah Pichelli doing the work on this book. And you guys don't know, this is the first solo and second appearance of Miles Morales, and it's also the first appearance of the Ultimate Prowler, who is Aaron, Miles' uncle. So pretty cool book. If you had never read this story before, when I read it, I was really surprised that Miles is actually like a little kid. He's like actually in like elementary school in the beginning, and he doesn't use like web shooters for a really, really long time. Not till like 10 issues in does he actually ever get any web shooters from Peter's Aunt May later on, which I thought was way cool. Like just a whole different tale. I didn't realize he was so young. He's literally like a little kid. So it's pretty funny. Great story. But it's also the first appearance of Jefferson and Rio Morales, the parents. And I don't give too many spoilers, but his mom does die at a certain point in the comics too, which is pretty crazy. And he actually takes a year off from being Spider-Man, so they do a whole like time jump to like age him up a little bit, which is pretty cool. This book also comes in a poly bag, as you find too, but it was very expensive a long time ago when a lot of Miles keys are all going way down. So if you're a big fan, it might be a good idea to pick them up.
Yeah.
So couple things going on with this book as well. There's also a 1 in 15 and a 1 in 15 and 1 in 30 ratio Pichelli that are both insane and both super expensive. So keep an eye. They're both above $500 for those books as well. So 2 of those ratios you should be keeping an eye out for. But if you talk to some people, comic book wise, I think a lot of people liked Miles better in the Ultimate Universe than they do in the regular 616. And reading both of them, I kind of agree as well. The way he fits in the 616 isn't quite the same as he did in the original one, so that might be why some of his keys are starting to dip a little bit down. So I'm excited to see that they're bringing back the Ultimate Universe. That might help things back, because he's one of the characters they're going to put back in that universe. He makes more sense. Like, he takes Spider-Man's place in that universe, and like now that he's in the 616, they're like, hey, we're together. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, it doesn't quite have the same feeling that it did when he first came out.
Right. There's too many Spider-Mans.
There's too many. Sometimes there's too many. You guys, let me know in the comments how you feel about that, if you felt the same way. I like him better in the Ultimate Universe than he is in the regular one. And maybe that's why in the last series he was jumping from universe to universe too a lot in the end. They were like, okay, let's find a different place for him that's a little more fun.
Yeah. Who's your favorite alternate universe Spider-Man?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah. That's a good question. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, both.
And Zach, though, it might be a good idea to buy this book if you like it. I might need to pick up another copy.
Yeah, the prices are interesting. Prices a year ago was $1,051. Now it's $730. Not bad for a CGC 9.8. The low was $465, and this almost looks like an error here. It says the highest $3,000. No, that can't be right. That must be for the variant, the super rare variant that you're talking about. Dang it, go collect. Average sales $9.49. Yeah, it's a pretty decent book right there. Great cover, second appearance. It's apparently a good story. I haven't read it yet, but I need to.
Really good.
I think it should be up there for one of the best modern day books of the last 20 years that you should have, along with the Ultimate Fallout. They pair very well together. Yeah, I think it would be a buy. And overall, might be a little bit biased here.
The number one book?
The number one, I'm always going to say the 194 because I'm biased. The deal of the day is probably going to be the Marvel Point 1. I think they're going to have to get that one. I think they have to get.
It needs to go someplace.
I think they're going to have to do something with that character somehow.
He's way too cool.
He has 2 first names.
That's true. That makes him doubly cool. I can tell you from experience on that Ultimate Spider-Man 1, though, if you can, try to buy one that's already graded, because every time I see one, they're always beat up. And they still sell for a lot, but they're always it's that weird glossy cover where you just look at it and a tick appears, and you're like, why? They're always that way. So you might have to buy one already graded. It's too hard to find one.
Or buy one from very meticulous collector. Meticulous. Just everything's put together correctly in the box and maybe even top loaded out. I've seen that a couple times. Geez, you spend a lot of money in protecting your books.
All right, guys, if you like hearing these drop lists as much as we like delivering them, all you gotta do is hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell so you always know when new things are going down. Because we like to go live every Wednesday. We love to hang out with you guys and chat. It's our favorite time of the week. And Zach, you got anything else?
Yeah, you gotta share. How you do that is, get all these things, all this like collectible stuff, well, not collectible, this jewelry like stuff, put in beads, send out mail. Then you could be a stay-at-home bead maker, bead necklace maker. I think that's a thing. And you never have to leave your home. All the stuff that you want, have it delivered to your house. Put it together, make your jewelry, fancy stuff, maybe masks, whatever, and just ship it out. You never have to leave. You'll be the perfect shut-in. That's how you get those shut-in gains.
I like it.
Bead shut-in
Make
gains.
some out of candy though, so that you're not eating those candy necklaces.
I like those.
You shoot them at your friends.
Delicious.
All right, guys. Until we see you next time, stay safe and remember,
get those home gains.
Get 'em.
Every single one.